Welcome back to the Social Media Stewards. This is episode 12, Running on Empty, the race to recharge. And before we get started, big thank you to anyone who's been tuning in, leaving comments, liking, sharing, just getting involved in general. We do appreciate it. But we are finally back racing again in Australia.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Finally back. A very early start for us. It was picking you up at 3:30 in the morning, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
And starting the morning with a very strong coffee and very small eyes. But how did it start then before the race? What happened before the race?
I think we walked into yours, turned the TV on, and the first thing we were hit with was Oscar Piastri out of the race.
Yes, he was exploring the track limits. He found them.
Yeah, very, very rapidly from the looks of things.
Yes, I'm gutted for him. I mean, it's his home race. I felt so sorry for him. And it wasn't like he was messing around. Do you know what I mean?
He doesn't seem to have much luck in front of his home crowd. Like
he doesn't.
He went off last year. Was it last year? He went off, and then he managed to get it back on track mid-race and managed to go. But this one was just so strange. Because if you watch the onboard and you listen to the onboard, it was coming out of the pits through corner 1, through corner 2, through corner 3. There was nothing. There was no power. It was no battery, no power. It was struggling to move. And then he got around turn 4, cold tires on the curb a little bit.
Yeah, that's it.
And the engine decided to give him everything at once.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it.
I don't think any driver on the grid would have saved that.
No, I think you're right. I don't think they would have at all. But unfortunately, it was so quick the way it happened as well. He had no chance of saving that. There was no way that was going to change. But unfortunately, what can you do?
The strange thing is, Andre Stella said after the race that they've had similar issues in the sim.
Yeah.
Where there's not the not the power delivery, it's the torque delivery. He said.
Right.
So they've had similar issues in the sim, but they haven't had those issues with cold tires and a curb, and it all just kind of added up to one wrecked car and a poor Aussie on his home race. There was kind of, I was gutted for him, very gutted for him. But the first thing we saw when we turned the TV on, it was like, oh, the action's already started. Let's go.
That's it. Yeah,
definitely torn. But he wasn't the only one who didn't start as well.
No, unfortunately, Hulkenberg, and I was really looking. I had high hopes for Hulkenberg.
Yeah,
I thought he'd have a half decent race.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a telemetry loss for data on his car.
They've said a technical issue and they lost all telemetry.
Right. Yeah.
And because they lost all the telemetry, they couldn't see what the issue was, so they thought it was safer to just park him up before the race started. Again, that was on the way to the grid.
Yes.
Kind of established. And you're just kind of wondering, like, are we going to see a bit more of this? Like,
of course,
these kind of battery and technical issues over the next couple of races, as they're still trying to get their heads around full weekends with these.
Yeah,
with these new regs and new batteries, and because they've done the testing before, like they've done a couple of weeks of testing, but they've not done like 2 days of testing followed by full throttle quali.
No, of course not. No.
Then a race, you can only simulate that so much.
Yes, yeah.
So. It was unfortunate, given. I mean, obviously we'll come to it, but given where Bortoleto finished in the race, it was unfortunate to see Nico out. Then we come to the race itself. I think that was.
Yes, that was the drama before the race. But yeah, we came to the main event, and I must say, whoever was in control of those starting lights could not have been quicker off the mark. That was incredibly quick. I mean, that final light it turned on, and it was as though when the final light turned on, they had a power cut and all the lights went out instantly.
Yeah.
It was barely a flash. I don't think the drivers were quite prepared for that. But all but one got straight off the line.
Yes.
Which nearly ended in a crash. Only to the amazing reflexes that it didn't.
Yeah.
But so it was the Racing Bulls, wasn't it?
I think it was Lawson, wasn't it?
It was Lawson,
yeah.
Yes.
And how Colapinto didn't go with the back of him.
I know. And not into the wall either.
Yeah.
Because he was millimeters from Lawson, millimeters from the wall. Amazing reaction, amazing car control. But that's what they were all talking about. That's what they were fearing, wasn't it?
Yeah, there could be that possibility that someone's not going to get away. And if the car goes into anti-stall, there's nothing the driver can do. At that point, they've just got to hope everybody can kind of go around them. If they're in the middle of the pack or at the front of the pack. So, I'm guessing Lawson didn't have a clue what was going on behind him.
No.
And if you watch the onboard from Colapinto, the car in front, I can't recall who was in front of him, but they moved to the left and it just reveals Lawson.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe a car and a half ahead. And the reaction time, just, hats off to him.
Oh, incredible. Absolutely incredible.
It could have been very, very nasty.
Yes.
But yeah, you were right. Whoever was in charge of that light, I don't think that last light lit for more than a split second.
No, not in the slightest.
And it looked like it caught a few people out. Just expecting maybe it to be on for a little bit, because some of the people that got fantastic jumps at the start.
Yes.
You look at the start that Arvid Lindblad got.
Oh yeah.
First race, I can imagine his nerves were quite high. Pressure's there.
Yes.
First race in F1.
Yeah.
He's only a young lad, and he claimed a couple of spots straight off the bat.
He did
and was
indeed.
Actually fighting side by side with Lewis Hamilton, and
yeah,
like his hero. Like you said, Hamilton being his hero, and there he was wheel to wheel with him for the first couple of corners. Yeah, go ahead, lad. Go on.
I mean, Leclerc got an incredible start. Absolutely incredible. I don't know whether that was sheerly, purely down to reaction time, or whether that was we have seen that Ferrari being very quick off the mark.
Yeah.
But those lights took everyone by surprise. Absolutely everyone.
I think one thing that possibly helped Leclerc, and we've talked about this briefly before, we can go into it a little bit more now, and people pointed this out on social media. After the first light or two, George Russell's back kind of creeps forward a touch, and then he stops dead. And part of me is wondering if, he realised he was moving, stopped dead, and wasn't himself properly set for...
Yeah, maybe.
For that launch, or for how quick those lights went out. So I'm wondering how much that helped. And obviously, social media is like, why wasn't he penalised for it and stuff like that? And apparently the 2026 regs state that as long as they are stationary before the lights go out and they haven't left the grid box, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised by that when you looked that up, because in previous years, even last year with Antonelli, I think it was in Vegas, and he only creeped forward millimeters, and it was very hard to see unless they had it in slow motion, and he got a 5-second penalty for that.
Yeah.
So I thought, that's obviously been missed. It's clearly a penalty, but it looks like the rules may have changed for this year, unless there might have been slightly different circumstances. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I always thought when you've parked up at the grid, you are not allowed to move.
Yeah.
But it's within this year's regulations, apparently.
A few years back, Bottas was under investigation for an immense start. I mean, to the naked eye, he went when the lights went out.
Yes.
But he went that quick. Everyone was like, he must have been accelerating before the light went out.
Right.
And it got down to the point where they were like, well, no, there's a minimum reaction time, and if your reaction's before that, it's an illegal start. But if it's after it, and he was like milliseconds, over that minimum. So it was a completely. It's like he'd anticipated the light going out, and his car didn't move until those lights went.
Yeah.
But even then, it was like, oh, if he's like a fraction too quick on the accelerator there, it's a false start, and he's got a penalty.
Yeah, I get you.
Whereas, George rolls forward 6 inches and stops, and then he's allowed to go. Apparently, according to the regulations now, that is absolutely fine as long as he is stopped dead before those lights go out. Effectively, he's not rolling into the light out and then gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, apparently, I don't think I like that interpretation.
No.
I honestly think once you're stopped in the grid, you're stopped in the grid.
Yeah, exactly. I
do wonder if that helped Leclerc. And, I mean, even Hamilton got a fantastic start, but then he kind of got boxed out because of everyone moving around. So, like, I think he got boxed out by Antonelli and Lindblad.
Yes, I think he did.
And he couldn't then make the move on Russell as well. So that kind of protected Russell at that point. So those two Ferraris rapid off the line.
They were, yeah. Without a doubt. They've clearly got the launch absolutely nailed in those cars.
Yeah.
And I mean, for the first few laps, there was an awful lot of overtaking. And I mean an awful lot.
Yes.
Especially up at the front between George and Leclerc. I mean, Max was making up places like there's no tomorrow. But, it's hard, isn't it? Because we really want to see all this overtaking. We want to see the action. Of course we do. Who doesn't? The problem is, it just seemed like it was lap after lap of just, we'll exchange the position at exactly the same place every lap because you've run out of power, but I haven't. Yeah. And now I've run out of power, but you haven't. And, every single time it was just like, but you've only done that overtake because they've run out of power.
Yeah.
And it as much as you can say that, the overtaking makes it exciting, it does, but not when it's artificial. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like saying, look at me, I've lost 1.5 stone, but it's because they chopped me leg off. Do you know what I mean? It's not the same thing. There was no effort involved in that.
No, it's you're right with it. I think the problem is, like, you had a chat with somebody in work.
I did, yeah.
And they were like, oh, it was dead exciting, wasn't it? But they're more of a casual...
Yeah.
More of a casual viewer. They're not really kind of up on the regulations and up on why the overtakes were happening. It was just a lot of overtaking to them.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem in the fact that this person, I won't name the person just because, well, I won't. But we've been talking motorsports. He's really into motorbikes. He likes to watch a lot of, MotoGP, watches the TT, things like that. Absolutely loves it. But he said this is the first race he's watched in years because for him, Formula One got boring. It was very much same old, and there wasn't much action. So for him, he said, he was on the edge of his seat. Look at this. It was nothing but constant overtakes. And you're like, I get that. Yeah. I do get it. Of course I do. But I think if you're a casual viewer and you turn it on and all you're seeing is overtaking an action, I completely understand why you would find that good. Whereas if you've been watching, race in, race out for years, and you can see that the only reason that there's loads of overtakes is because they're running out of power, well, that's sad. It's meant to be the pinnacle of motorsport. And I think that I understand the FIA wanting to make it more exciting, of course, but you do not make Formula One more exciting by making the cars slower. That is not the way to do it. I understand making them smaller and, active aero, things like that. Fine. Brilliant. Narrower tyres, so the grip's different. Yeah, fine. No problem. But this nonsense with running out of power halfway down the straight and giving it a catchy name like super clipping. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Don't try and make that sound exciting.
It's because if you watched any of it and had the sound off,
yeah,
a lot of it you'd be going, oh wow, why have they put a move in there? But then you watch some of the onboards of people being overtaken.
Yeah.
And with the audio, and you can hear 2/3 down the straight. You just hear like a spooling down of the engine because they're no longer. And then the car behind them just coasts past. I'm like, well, we said that was boring under DRS.
Yeah.
When they just get on a straight and open the wing and they just glide past them, we said that was boring because it kind of was. There was no real attacking for the corners. A lot of the takeovers were simply just DRS takeovers, and now the takeovers are just battery takeover. It's almost like we're playing on Sky Electrics and we're just taking turns to pull the trigger and then just skipping past each other each time. And it can look exciting, but to me it's not exciting because I know there's very little driver skill involved there.
Yes. Yeah.
I'd rather see them fighting into those corners and one of them jockeying around trying to kind of set up an attack to then come around them, rather than going, well, he's been defending on that last one, I'm just going to attack now. But then you get to the very next straight. What was happening on the long left hand towards the chicane, each time, whoever was ahead, Leclerc or Russell, by the time they got to that chicane, the other one was ahead. Then they come through, and then by the time they got to the braking zone of the next right-hander, the other one was back in front. And if it wasn't there, it was on the main straight to the first corner.
That's it. Yeah.
So it was like, well, all that's happening here is we're trading places, like you say, because one of these has run out of battery and the other one's got more. And it's hard to get excited about that kind of racing.
Of course it is.
Which is devastating for someone who loves watching the sport and has been watching the sport for years. And I'm pretty sure I'm not alone in that if you look at social media and stuff.
I mean, the daft thing is, they put out a graphic with the two F1 cars on track and they put, a nice little bit of writing on the track. Last year it was 45 overtakes. This year it's 120. And you're like, yeah, but none of them were memorable.
Mm.
And I really want to try and stay positive. I really want to think, do you know what? If at the moment the Mercedes and the Ferrari are the top dogs, they are the fastest cars on track at the moment.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Max managing to get from where he was in 20th, was it? Yeah, 20th, right the way up to 6th. I think if he started higher up, maybe where he qualified, if he'd have qualified higher up, you think, would he have been in the fray as well? I'm not quite sure what the pace of that car is when it's up at the front and it's not blathering its tyres going through the field. It could be a close race and there could be a ridiculous amount of overtaking. But again, if it's just because one of them has run out of power and they slowed down, where's the fun in that? Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you look at all the memorable battles and overtakes we've seen over the years, it's like, I can't believe he made a move into that corner. I can't believe he's managed to, he's played him for a fool. Look at him. He's, done a switchback. He's played a dummy. He's all those things, not, oh, look, he's run out of battery. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. We've mentioned this one a couple of times. So you go back a couple of seasons, you've got that Leclerc and Perez battle. And Hamilton's behind them just biding his time because they're losing a bit of time. And then, they're pushing each other around. And there's a bit of ERS involved. There's a bit of DRS involved. But there's a lot of positioning of the car, a lot of counteracting, a lot of defending. And then, you're watching it and you are kind of going, oh, hang on, who's going to come out on top here? Oh, I think Leclerc's going to get him here. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Hamilton's through. Because he's bided his time and he's and then he's made the attack the moment he's realised that they've made a mistake. And like, okay, Perez comes back at him a few laps later, or a few corners later and stuff. But it's that kind of stuff where you're like, oh man, that's really exciting to watch because they are trying to tee each other up. They're trying to force a mistake, and I'd rather have 15 laps, 20 laps of two cars dogging it out, battling away, for one of them to then lay down a marker and make an absolutely fantastic pass.
Exactly.
Because you're going to see world-class defending. You're going to see world-class attacking. You're going to see what the drivers are really capable of.
Exactly.
And then you'll be like, wow, that battle, it went on for 20 laps, but my word, what a battle it was.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
We go back, Perez again. We talk about that defence against Hamilton in 2021.
Yeah.
There wasn't crazy amount of overtaking there. There was just fantastic driving by both drivers.
Exactly.
And I'd much rather that than watch somebody run out of battery and someone just coast on by.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
It is frustrating.
That's my... But I would come on to... Sorry, go on.
No. Carry on.
I was just going to say, you mentioned Max.
Yeah.
And his first stint on those hards.
Oh, he was on fire. Absolutely on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. He basically did like 30 qualifying laps.
Yeah, he chewed through that first stint. He just... Every couple of laps, it was another 3 or 4 places. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, wow. The Red Bulls obviously got something.
Yeah, definitely,
I mean, it was by like the last third that he was up into 6th. He was even attacking Lando at one point, like for a good few laps, but I think he'd just taken too much out of his tyres. And he said afterwards that their hards were graining much more than they were expecting.
And I mean, looking at his radio messages with GP as well, it looks like he was having a few issues with recharge and getting the power back into the battery as well.
Yeah.
So there might be a few gremlins to work out there. But unfortunately, our worst fears were absolutely realised in that, yes, Ferrari have got a great car. Yes, it's quick. And yes, they have 2 amazing drivers. But of course, the strategy team did what it usually does and turned up at the worst possible time. Because, why on earth you wouldn't use either one of those virtual safety cars to box for tyres like the Mercedes did? As soon as they said, no, we're not going to box you, that was it. Ferrari was out of it.
Yeah.
And you went from what was, an action-packed first few laps of battling it out to, they're on fresher tyres. We've still got a box. We've got no chance in this now. Thanks very much.
I mean, you listen to what Fred said afterwards, and it doesn't make sense to me. It's like we knew their car was quicker, so we had to think of something strategic, and we had to be more strategic with it. I'm like, well, okay, you think their car's quicker?
Yeah.
Then take the VSC and lose less time.
Of course.
You didn't take the first one. Okay, granted. You're a bit further in on the second one. You can still one-stop it. Take the second one.
Of course.
And go from there. But I honestly thought, I was looking at it going, like, I know for anyone who saw our predictions after quali, or our thoughts on quali, I predicted the race result that we got. But I was sitting there thinking, I could be wrong here. The way Leclerc was fighting away, and the way even Hamilton was kind of pulling into, and I was like, we could actually see, like, double Ferrari 1-2, or we could see, Ferrari Merc, or, it could be very, very interesting. But then the moment those virtual safety cars passed, it was over. That was it. It was done.
It was done.
And for all the talk of, wanting to see the racing and wanting to see the overtaking and wanting to see, races won on track, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, just to see it decided by pit stops more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you would think in the off-season they would send Ferrari strategists away for some training. Or, do you know what? Just look at what any other team does and copy that.
Yeah.
Because I've never understood the Ferrari logic when it comes down to pitting and when to pit, because I don't want to sound like one of those people at a football game shouting from the stands, going, "Oh, just kick it to the left." Do you know what I mean? I'm not like that. But it seems so obvious, and I do apologize for this. I can never remember the commentator's name, the lady who used to be a strategist herself.
Bernie Collins.
Yes. Yeah. And even she was saying, I don't understand why you wouldn't take the shortened time of a pit stop under a virtual safety car, even if in 5 laps' time it turns into a real safety car, or you end up with a safety car in 10 laps, a proper one, you would take it. And it's just, Ferrari, man. I really hope they get their act together. Otherwise, they may as well congratulate George now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Ferrari have got a real chance at winning the Constructors this year. Even if it's not Drivers' Championship, and I know it's only been the first race, but it seems like Ferrari have got a real chance this year. And I don't want to see them mess it up because they can't be bothered thinking of a proper strategy.
Yeah. I looked at it and was thinking, you're saying that the Merca's considerably faster.
Yeah.
Yet, up until the first stint of like Mercedes pits, Leclerc was right there.
Oh yeah.
Right there. So you're kind of thinking, well, you could have pitted with them, and you still would have been right there. You would have been closer than you were.
Exactly.
If you just followed their strategy, it would have come down to which one can kind of outlast the other. Okay, battery wise, but you're still going to be right there. Kind of going, they're quicker, so we're going to just just roll the dice and hit whenever the tea leaves say so. I don't know, just it makes no sense, and like that.
No.
At this point, part of me is kind of going, they know strategy's been a weak part of their team, a very, very weak point of their team for the last few years.
Of course.
If I was like a Ferrari, I'd be like, well, who are we headhunting?
Yeah.
Who do we want to try and nab from another team that gets it right? And I'd be looking and I'd be trying anyone who I thought could improve that strategy team. And with all the info they've got, we can somehow still sit at home on the couch and go, should have pitted. Like in live time, not looking back retroactively. We were there on the couch going, they really need to pit now.
Yeah. I think part of your logic there is flawed only because Ferrari would have to admit that they've got a problem.
Yeah.
That's the issue. You look at all the past seasons, Ferrari never stand there and go, do you know what? We got it wrong. We got the car wrong, or we got the strategy wrong, or we should have listened more to our drivers. It's never that. The best ever you get from anyone who's interviewed from Ferrari, excluding the 2 drivers because they're quite truthful, they just go, yeah, we've struggled. Yeah, but why have you struggled? Delve a little deeper into it. Do you know what I mean? And I think no one, if Ferrari turned around and said, we've got a real problem with strategy, so this year we've been simulating everything we possibly can to work out better strategy, we've employed new people, all this, no one would laugh at them, nobody would take the mick out of them. They would go, do you know what? It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time. I mean, it's unfortunately, we can all laugh at the odd strategy call, like last year in, was it Bahrain or was it Qatar, where it was the 25 lap limit and McLaren were the only team not to pit when all of the other cars on the grid pitted. I mean, that was laughable, but it was a rare off day for McLaren. Do you know what I mean? So you sort of go, all right, it was funny, but it was a very rare occurrence. Normally they're on point.
There's a clip from Drive to Survive that makes that even funnier.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet.
Basically, it cuts to Zach Brown and Andre Stella on the pit wall going, oh, are we? Yeah. And Zach's like, are we pitting now? And Andre Stella's like, no one's going to pit. No one's going to pit. And so they go past it and everyone starts coming in, pitting behind him. You can see the look on Zach Brown and Andre Stella's face like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. And at that point, we're like, yeah, we've messed up. But it's like, no one's going to pit. No one's going to pit. Everyone pitted.
Oh, no.
But yeah, but you're right, though, aren't you? Like, there's the odd mistake throughout the season. It's a long season. There's a lot of pit stops, a lot of strategy calls. There's going to be the odd mistakes, but Ferrari make them every week.
Yeah, of course. That's the problem.
And you've got that car, which looks like a very, very good car. You've got Leclerc, who looks hungry. You've even got like a reignited Hamilton.
Yeah.
And it's the pit wall again. And I know I said in my prediction for where I thought like constructors would finish that I think they'd be able to drive beyond those strategy calls. I think race one made me doubt that.
I get that.
Well, it's a long season. So
the problem is you've got a fired up Hamilton who is really excited for the season, and in the very first race when he's saying we need to pit, you're telling him to shut up. Well, you know, that new happy atmosphere that you've got at Ferrari will not last long if you're going to ignore your drivers.
And the thing with Lewis is like he didn't even say, why didn't you pit me? He was like, we should have at least pitted one of us.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Split the strategy. I don't care which one of us it is. Split the strategy and see which one works.
Yeah.
And yeah, quick way to douse the flames, isn't it? So
yes. But there were a few surprising positions for cars. I mean, you've only got to look at the likes of Ollie Behrman and the Haas 7th. I mean, what a brilliant result in the first race for Haas. I mean, normally, especially cars like Haas, and it's no offense to Haas, but at the start of a season, it's a bit rocky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Straight away, a 7th position for Behrman. He did well there. But there's a few of them that I wouldn't have expected in the top 10, to be fair. I mean, Lindblad in 8th, Bortoletto in 9th. It's impressive.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Behrman, I said before, I've got plenty of love for him. I think he's got so much potential. He's a very solid driver, very young, very quick to adapt. He just stayed out of trouble at the start and managed to pick up a few places and then just put in a very, very solid race. Didn't put a foot wrong.
He did. No.
Lindblad, like you say, he got up there at the start, but I don't think that Racing Bull had it to keep up with, the McLarens and everything, like that they were kind of behind the Ferraris and the Mercedes. But hey, what a race for your first ever F1 race, to get points. Like you've just got 4 points for your team in your very first race.
Definitely.
And I liked this interview afterwards with like Jenson Button and all. He just seemed like such a likable, really down to earth, really just enjoying and loving the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine like how his nerves must have been lights out very first race.
Oh yeah,
to compose yourself and not just get it across the line, but in a very solid 8th place.
Yes, definitely.
And hate to say it, but I think that puts the pressure on Lawson a little bit. I know he had the false start. Well, not the false start. The stalled start.
Yes, of course.
But it's got to put some pressure on him. The young kids come in and scored the first points, and then I mean, hats off to Audi and Bortoletto.
Yeah. Oh yeah. To be fair, that Audi looks strong.
I was surprised.
It doesn't look bad at all. And it sounds completely different to all the other F1 cars. I don't know why, but it just does sound so different.
I think it's like, obviously, Audi's just come in, new approach. They're not using anybody's engines. It's their own interpretation of the F1 rules and regs.
Of course.
Just a shame that Hülkenberg didn't start. I think after seeing Bortoletto put that in 9th, I think it's a shame he didn't start, because I think it would have been good to see what he could do with it as well.
Definitely, yeah. I think before we go further down the table, I did think, as we said when we were watching the race, the shame of it is even in race one, the fact that we had a gap of 54.6 seconds between first and sixth, that is a gigantic gap.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, big gaps like this aren't uncommon. When it was the 2021 battle between Hamilton and Max, third place, whether it was Bottas or Perez, was quite often 40 seconds behind in third.
Yeah.
But the difference is that was coming to the end of an era in that regulation. So those cars were absolutely top of their game. And it was very much the two fastest drivers on the grid were just battling it out to the death for most of those races. Yeah. So they left the rest of the field. But for the very first race of a season, between first and sixth, nearly a minute, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. And I do hope that narrows. I really hope that narrows.
It's got to. I mean, seventh upwards were lapped. Which, we've seen that before. We have seen that before.
Yes, of course.
But, like you say, race one and seven, up to seventh, seventh and beyond. Out of a 22, and I know the 22 people didn't start, but out of a 22 car grid.
Yeah. Well,
only 6 finished on the lead lap.
Yeah. So if you say, okay, so just the cars that never retired and got resurrected for some reason. So down to 16th, so down to Perez. Perez was lapped 3 times.
Yeah.
And I just think, oh man, 3 laps down. I'm used to seeing a lap down. And all right, you don't know whether that's a lap and 99%. No idea. But you don't normally see 3 laps down. And what was with the timing screen? Why have we lost tenths and hundredths?
Sorry, hundredths and thousands. So we've got the tenths. We have 100.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's just so we don't look at how bad the timings are.
Yeah, maybe it'll look worse.
I think, Perez being like 3 laps behind, and obviously Bottas's car, he was...
Yeah.
Something was catastrophically wrong with that car because he was at the pit lane and they were like, no, turn over and turn it off immediately.
Of course.
So something obviously went completely wrong with that car where he couldn't afford to have that engine running any longer. So it was like, no, pull over.
Yeah.
And we'll come to that in a minute because what happened there was very strange as well. But it kind of confirmed for me with Cadillac that I don't think they're at a point where they're going to score any points this season. They are so far off the pace. 3 laps.
Yeah.
That means they were probably lapped by people. Well, they were lapped by people who were lapped.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Technically, they were lapped by possibly 6 or 7 other cars.
Yeah.
Outside of the top 6. So, they've done a fantastic job to get a car to the start of the season.
Oh, yeah.
There's no pace there for them at all.
No.
And I think it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a tough season, but if they make all the notes and make all the necessary improvements throughout the year, it'll be great. I was more concerned with Sainz being lapped twice.
Yes, that is not cool. Yeah.
So, like, is he struggling with that, Williams? Because Albon didn't put in a memorable rate drive either in 12th.
No.
We've had such high hopes for Williams. Maybe it's the hangover of not getting the testing done. Am
I going mad, or do I remember Sainz having to get a new wing, and that's how we found out how long the wing replacements take?
No,
and he said something like 17 seconds extra.
Yeah,
yeah.
Which is why he felt so far behind again.
Right.
Yeah,
yes.
And that's to do with the fact that obviously the hydraulics to open the active aero on the front.
Yeah.
Which is why, is it Aston Martin apparently devised the electrical contact points?
Right.
And are doing theirs electronically rather than hydraulically.
Right, that makes sense.
So their wing replacement shouldn't take that long because it's just making sure the contact points kind of meet up when you put the wing on, which should just, you'd think it just like connect together anyway, because as long as the wing slots in, everything's connected.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, if you take a tiny bit of damage to your wing and you've got to replace it.
Yeah.
17 seconds.
Yeah, onto your normal pit stops. You're talking a 20 seconds just for your tyres and your wing, roughly. That is one hell of a pit stop.
Yeah.
I mean, the teams, they'll probably revise the way the front wings are connected once they realise it's taken that long, and they'll make adjustments or mods or upgrades. I'm sure they'll get quicker and quicker at that as the season goes on, or at least you'd hope so. Try and reduce that as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, but whilst we're going that far down the grid, what on earth went on with Aston Martin?
So, how long have you got?
Oh man!
So apparently, both drivers gave their lap limits to the team because of all this vibration issue that they're having.
Yes.
Now, I hadn't seen this article, but we read it part of it just before we went live. With Adrian Newey saying basically the vibration issue from the engine and the battery is that bad. It's causing chassis issues such as wing mirrors falling off and tail lights falling off.
Yeah.
And they need to kind of figure out what's going on with that. But apparently, Fernando Alonso told the team that too long in the car and they'd be risking nerve damage in their hands. Which you can imagine if you're holding onto the wheel already and you're fighting it already, but then it's vibrating on top of that. So he said to the team 25 laps. And then Lance Stroll said, I can do 15. In one stint. So from the looks of it, it was, right, go out, do your stint, come in, sit in the garage for a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait till you're ready to go back out. And then go back out. And we'll get more data.
I mean, it's considering at first the rumours were they were going to do the formation lap and then retire. All right. Stroll managed 43 laps and Fernando Alonso managed 21. But, oh man, it was just weird because Alonso had come up going, oh yeah, in the garage, DNF, retired, whatever you want. And then all of a sudden it was like, hang on a minute, he's back on track. And it was like, plus 15 laps. You're like, oh no. Like, really?
I mean, I can't remember a time. I'm struggling to remember last time someone was lapped 3 times, like Perez was.
Yes.
But then, has anyone ever been lapped 15 times? I cannot.
Not that I can remember.
And I'll be very honest, I'm surprised that the stewards didn't go, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
I'm guessing if it's like you don't get off the car, you can go back out, it's fine, you can pull in, you can go out and get your data, but it's a long time to be out of the race and then just to roll back in.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, like say anything had happened where they'd had some sort of issue which then collected one of the race leaders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird one, but yeah. Fernando didn't finish in the end. He did just retire the car in the end.
I think part of the problem is I don't know whether the FIA are trying to save face or what, but it seems as though to try and let them make the cars as exciting as possible and make it as close as possible, they've thrown a lot of the rules out for this weekend. I mean, they got rid of the curfew, didn't they? They got rid of, was it Parc Fermé they got rid of? They adjusted the Parc Fermé rules.
Yeah.
So they could change the car. And you're just like, that never happens. And they've clearly done it just to go, hey, let's try and make it as good as possible for the first race. And you think, I mean, don't get me wrong. One thing me and you said, there's no way they will get through the first race without a red flag. We both said that. And we thought there'd be loads of crashes, loads of offs. There wasn't. Well, I mean, there was before the race. Sorry, Piastri. But there wasn't. I mean, there was. We thought Bottas, really, we thought that would have been a full safety car. But you were going to say something about Bottas and his retirement. What was that?
Yeah, so he obviously pulls up next to the pit lane, and we immediately said to each other, that's a closed pit lane.
Yeah.
You've got a car 5-10 feet away from the pit lane, pulled over, with the driver getting out of it. That's got to be a closed pit lane.
Yeah.
Because there is nowhere else for that car to go other than to be rolled into the pit lane.
No.
And almost like immediately after we said that, cars were coming into the pits.
Yeah.
That made no sense to me. And then all of a sudden, those cars pitted and went back out, and you're like, oh, the Ferraris are going to pit now, surely. And then it's like the pit lane's closed.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, though, we thought the Ferraris had already gone past the pit as Bottas broke down, and they hadn't.
No.
When you went back and looked at the messages, Bottas broke down, and as the Ferraris were heading towards the pit lane, you knew clearly it was going to be a VSC, if not a proper safety car. They should have pulled in straight away, and that was the second time they missed the VFC for a safety for a free pit stop. And you just think, oh no! But yeah, we did. We both thought closed pit lane straight away.
Yeah,
it just wasn't.
And I totally think that they should have closed it, and they did in the end. But part of me thinks if you let half the teams pit, you keep the stewards off until every car's been around.
Yeah,
I'm not one for that. I think it should have just been closed immediately. But
of course,
it's not closed now. It's closed. I just wonder what the stewards were doing there. Like, they should have been straight onto it, I think. It was a very strange place for him to pull over. But
it was
very slow from the stewards, I think, which could have been dangerous.
Definitely, yeah.
Because I don't know what access at that point stewards and marshals have to getting onto the car, to get onto the track. Are some of them going to be coming through by the pits there? And I don't know. I think there's probably an opening just a bit further down, because there's a runoff, isn't there? A little bit further down.
Yes, there is, yeah.
So I'd assume they come through there. But it just surprised me that it took so long for them to close that pit lane. Because it doesn't take much to have an off on that left-hander.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. No.
As you're accelerating out of there, you touch a bit of that grass and you're...
Oh yeah, you're gone.
You're in, which could have taken a car into Bottas's car.
Of course.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about it. It just caught me out.
No, that's fine.
So I'm just trying to scroll down through the Formula One Twitter, because we're talking about like Parc Fermé and stuff like that. A lot of cars did take new parts.
Yes, they did. Yeah,
I'm trying to find the official notices. I know George Russell is on like second of 2 electrical units for the season.
Yes.
And Carlos Sainz did take something to do with the battery charge as well. This was all before the race, so like between quali and the race, a lot of them took new parts. But in an era of cost cap and penalties for going over your allotment to be on the second of your 2 electrical units.
Yes.
I mean, I said this the other day, barring when we were chatting about it, but barring cost cap, if that Mercedes is as quick as they say it is, or it appears to be, you could take a new part every week and take a 5 grid penalty. And
exactly. Yeah.
Barring you don't go over your cost cap, you're kind of all right.
Yeah, I mean, if the FIA's goal is to show you how unreliable hybrids are, brilliant.
Yay!
Well done.
Great start.
Not great considering I've just bought one. But mine doesn't run out of juice halfway down to the shop, though.
But one person that we haven't touched on, we haven't touched on Lando yet either, but I was really gutted for Hadjar.
Oh, I don't know. He was doing well. He was doing really well.
Yeah, he was good. He got caught out at the start. He did get caught out at the start. He was one of the few that kind of must have been thinking, oh, hang on. But
yes,
that engine just gave up on him.
It did. It did not sound good when that blew.
No. Hats off to him though, because it was a very quick part of the track.
It was,
and he did very well to quickly get off the racing line, and then to park it up near an exit point so that it could just be rolled out and VSC, and it was fine. But I felt so gutted for him. Your first race after being promoted to basically the big team.
I mean, I said that to you on Saturday, and I said it in the little post I put out after qualifying. The fact that he qualified that high up, even for his first go on track, really, in that car properly, anyway, in a qualifying session. And you look in recent times, whether it's been Tsunoda or Perez or anyone, no one's really put in a great qualifying time. Normally, the second season, the Red Bull disappears at maximum Q2. So I thought he did really well, and I had high hopes for him in the race. And I think he would have been. I think if the race had carried on, he would have been either just in front of Lando, or he would have been just behind with Max straight behind that. And it would have been a good double point scored in for Red Bull, to be fair. I think if they sort out that, if that Red Bull is decent and they make a couple little tweaks, I think we could definitely see a good, at least third place for Red Bull in this championship. In the constructors.
That Red Bull Ford powertrain, it's obviously it got Lindblad into 7th. It got Max from 20th up to 6th. Yeah. It's obviously a good power unit when you compare it to the field. From Max's point of view, though, I think he's got to be sitting there thinking, I've got a teammate who's finally going to be able to to help.
Of course.
Because it's been a while. Yeah, he had.
Oh, it has been a while.
Perez for a couple of seasons was there and was doing the job, but then he just fell off a cliff and just couldn't put in the performances anymore. We talked about this the other week when you did his interview. Since then, they've gone through teammates after teammate, just looking for somebody to give him some help. And I think Hadjar, after that qualifying, phenomenal. He was doing all right. He was doing well. He was running well. He wasn't in any trouble, and it was just the engine that gave out on him. Again, those reliability issues of a new era. But I was gutted for him, genuinely gutted for him. He could have scored some really good points for the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's better to find it now in the first race, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because after this first race, I'm sort of dreading the rest of the season in a way, if it's just going to be a case of running out of power. But I do think, I don't know, I'm being hopeful. I really hope it improves. And I mean, they have spoken about some changes, haven't they?
Yeah.
They have spoken about a couple of changes, which some of them are slower deployment of the battery power. There has been talk of less reliance on the battery power, so maybe upping the engine power, possibly. There's quite a few little things that could be coming in, but at the moment, until anything's announced, it is a bit pie in the sky.
Yeah, I just worry about the extending the deployment of the battery one. We've spoken about this slightly, but to extend the deployment of the battery, you've got to reduce the amount that you can, the output, essentially. So you go from your 350 kilo or whatever the output is. You're given a max of this much over 3 seconds or whatever. You've got to reduce that level in order to deploy for longer.
Of course.
Which effectively means you slow down the car again.
Yes.
You avoid the clipping on longer straights because you can deploy the whole length of the straight, but you reduce the overall top speed of the car in order to do that. The issue there, the worry I have there, Max's fastest lap yesterday was 1:22.091.
Yes.
The fastest lap in the previous era of regulations was in 2024. And it was nearly 2.3 seconds faster. It was a 119.813 by Leclerc in 2024. So it's like 2.796 something faster. So effectively 2.3, right? So whatever it is. Sorry, 2.27 something. So it's effectively 2.3. So you have to slow the cars down again to avoid the clipping.
Yep.
They're not going to be 2 to 2.5 seconds slower per lap. They're going to be 4 to 4.5, maybe even 5 seconds slower per lap, depending on the track and depending on the length of the straight.
Yes.
So once again, you're slowing down the pinnacle of motorsport to make your regulations work.
I mean, that was part of what Max said as well, was that this was not a track that lends itself to battery charging. There are some tracks that are brilliant for getting your battery charged and getting up to pace. There are some tracks that are really not very good at that. So you could end up with some races where you run out of power extremely quickly. I suppose if they were to change the deployment of the battery, there are upsides and downsides to this, and the fact that you might be able to get it so that you can deploy pretty much the whole straight. Yes, okay, they'll have a slower top speed, but at least there won't be that mega drop off in pace towards the end of the straight. So would we end up with drivers going absolutely toe to toe, and it won't be a case of just changing positions because they've run out of battery? You might actually get the late lunges, the very quick overtakes. I don't know. Maybe, I think if they were to implement that with with an increase in power from the engine, would it matter in the fact that you would then still maybe get a bit more of the top speed, but the longer deployment of the battery? So it'd be a bit more like the way ERS was, but then they'd still have, the active aero and everything. Unfortunately, it's too early to tell.
Yeah.
And obviously, these cars will get more and more efficient at harvesting the power as the teams get more and more to grips with the regulation.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
It's difficult. So I think there are tracks you think, when I think about where do I think would be good for harvesting, I think Saudi, Singapore.
Yes.
The last two sectors of Texas.
Yes.
But then I look at the ones where I'm like, this could be horrendous. And I'm thinking Azerbaijan. Vegas. Two of the longest straights on the
Miami.
Monza.
Yes. Imola even.
Yeah. Imola could be.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it going, okay, well, what's the solution?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you reducing the clipping on, or kind of reducing the rate on some? Are you basically doing this race by race? Are you dialing it in race by race, and then at the end of this season going, oh, we were close, so next season we're going to do it again?
Yeah.
And we're going to dial it in again. And I just, part of me wishes they'd have gone, right, we're going for new reg changes, but all these reg changes are going to be on the car. Your active aero, your floor, the size of the car, everything.
Yes.
And kept the same engines. We're going to synthetic fuel anyway, so
yes, exactly.
And just gone, right, now let's see the fun we can have with this.
Yeah.
But instead they kind of just threw a grenade in the reg room and just decided to see what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what it feels like. There was no real thought for the aftermath or the possible scenarios where these regs could show weaknesses.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be mad if they'd have gone, right, over the next 10 years of the sport, we're going to aim to be kind of closer to 50-50 with the engine and the battery.
Right.
And gone, this year, we're going 80-20. In 4 years' time, we're going to go 80-30. And kind of gone and let the teams develop the batteries and the recharge and be able to work towards that if that's what they really wanted. And then you'd have all the data over years and years of how to recharge it, what recharge you can get, how you can deploy it, and then you could end up at 50-50. And it wouldn't feel so catastrophic.
Yeah. See, I just don't think it has any place in Formula One.
Oh, no.
I really don't. In the fact that I understood the last regulation that we, with the engines and that we've had for a while, where you have the battery pack, but it's purely for a boost, like the way it was ERS. Mm-hmm. I've got no problem with that. It makes perfect sense. And a lot of that technology has moved into road cars. When you look at, the CARES system that went into Ferraris and things like that, you've got it in, the Porsche 918 and things like that, McLaren P1. There's plenty of them out there. And I think, okay, that's great. And, I understand why they've done it to show off a bit of technology and all that, but don't take it away from the engine. I would love to see where, in all seriousness, a lot of the imagination has gone out of Formula One in the years. Don't get me wrong, we've mentioned it before. Back in the day, you'd had things like the fan car that had a massive fan on the back and it sucked it down to the ground. You'd had the six-wheeled F1 car, which is an unbelievable thing to see. And I'm not suggesting things like that. But if they were to say the car has to dictate the aero, fine. So they can say it has to be within these aero regulations, no problem. But I would love to see what they come out with. They said that the engine can be a maximum displacement of, say, 3 litre, and it can have a maximum horsepower of 850. Whatever configuration you want is fine. So if some of them might turn up with a V6, some might be a V8, inline 4, whatever you fancy, but you have to go, okay, so you dictate it has to be naturally aspirated, or it can only be turbocharged, or, whatever. But set certain boundaries around it, but let the creators go absolutely wild.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And if you're not going to do that, it's got to be a set engine. I don't care about batteries. I don't care about it.
One of our followers had said that in the comments, about it should be, here's the box, make your car fit in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, and go, here's the box.
Yeah.
This is the maximum you can have the engine. It's got to have 4 wheels, no more, no less.
Yeah.
Go have fun. You want the cost cap? Great, there's a cost cap. There's your cost cap. There's your box. Make it work.
Yes.
And I think you do hark back to like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and all those different ones, like a 42-foot spoiler on the back of some of them, not quite. But,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you'd say it can only be this high, it can only be this long and this wide. If it happens to be smaller and slimmer, it still fits in that box. It's fine.
Of course, yeah.
You want to make a little rocket, a little go-kart, and put a jet engine on it. Brilliant. It's got to pass the safety test, but brilliant.
They're just going the wrong way about it, I think. That's the problem.
Yeah. I think when I said I wouldn't mind if they went like in 10 years, we want to be 50-50. That was only like if they're adamant that that's what they wanted. I don't want to see it.
No.
But
no.
If that was what they were adamant they wanted for, it shouldn't have been such a big jump.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. I just think you've got that many other sports that are, Formula E. You know what I mean? Great. It's Formula E, brilliant. But you can't even tell me that's environmentally friendly. I'm sorry. Have you seen the way they smoke the rubber on them tyres? And then how many times they throw in them batteries away? You're telling me they're all recycled? When they have a crash, are you reusing that same battery, or does it just get thrown in a scrapyard? I'm sorry, don't do not tell me that is environmentally friendly. Just because you put an E on it and say it's got a battery and it doesn't burn petrol, don't tell me. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it.
This just struck me. Do you think we're like not far away from, instead of the F1 logo being an F and a 1, they start spelling 1, but it's ON-E.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just they need to get back to what Formula One was all about. Do you know what I mean? And it's meant to be the fastest cars on the planet with the best drivers behind the wheel, and the person with the most skill wins.
Yeah.
That's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I can completely understand. I just like if you're not an avid watcher, and you're more of a casual F1 fan, tuning in and going, "Wow, there was so much overtaking." But the more you look at the recipe, sometimes like you eat something really nice. It's like, oh, that's lovely. That tasted amazing. You look at the recipe going, oh, what have I just put in my body?
Yeah, well, I think it's, do you know what I think that is? I think it's, when you walk in somewhere and you're like, oh, they've got brownies. Can I have a brownie, please? And then when you bite into it and you're like, it's vegan. Oh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or when you go to a barbecue and the meat's not actually meat, you're like, there.
Yeah.
Just like, get away from me. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm sorry.
For me, the race just kind of confirmed the fears that we'd had at the start.
Yes, it did.
And, great for some of the drivers putting the cars where they did. Absolutely fantastic for them and made up for them as drivers. But the overall experience for me wasn't fantastic. And I'm worried about China because China's got that epic straight at the end. And I'm just thinking, well, are we just going to see more of the same? Just wait until stay behind.
Yeah.
Boom, gone. See you later. Next lap. Oh, they've taken it back.
Yep.
I was like, we haven't come to Lando yet. Like, we're looking at Lando.
Yes, sorry, we haven't.
No. I mean, we've been going off on little tangents together, so it's grand. So I'm taking a walk through the minefield that is F1 at the moment. But
yes,
Lando, how dominant was that McLaren last couple of seasons? And
pretty dominant.
51.7 seconds off the pace.
Yeah.
Which, if you look at the qualifying times and you went lap for lap, kind of makes sense.
It does. The only thing I just wish, the same with the Red Bull, I just wish we'd have had both McLarens on track.
Yeah.
Because it would have been intrigued. Because obviously you can never tell whether was Lando just not enjoying the way this car handles? Was he struggling a bit with it? Would Piastri have been able to put it any higher up? Would he have struggled exactly the same? We don't know. No. You know what I mean? It was the same thing we were saying with Max and Lindblad. We just don't know, do we?
Yeah, I think...
Not Lindblad. What am I talking about? Sorry, Hadjar.
Hadjar, yeah, Hadjar.
Because I just saw Lindblad's name on my screen.
The way Lindblad was racing, you'd have thought he was in a Red Bull. But
you would, to be fair.
I just... 51.7 seconds. Andre Stella reckons that they're losing time in two places. Now, if you're a racing fan...
on the track and off the track?
If you're a racing fan, you hear these two places and you think, oh, so everywhere. Power. They haven't figured out the intricacies and nuances of the power of the engine yet. That was obviously on display, both in Lando's speed and the way it caught Oscar out.
Yes.
And their grip in the corners.
That's pretty essential.
Yeah. So essentially what they're saying is that the car's not good at top end and it's not good going around corners.
That's not very good.
No. So, I mean,
oh dear.
There's been some complaints, hasn't it, that he thinks that they might not have all the info from Mercedes with regarding the engine. But I don't think Mercedes could get that past the FIA.
The way it's been worded is a little bit cryptic. So, obviously, with Mercedes being the engine supplier. They've given the engines to McLaren, Alpine, Williams. Is that it for this year? It is, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
They've given them those engines, and they have to be supplied with the software and everything for those engines. Now, they give out engine and a standard set of software. All of the teams tune the software for what suits their car best, whether it suits with, the way the driveline works, the steering wheel, you name it. It has to work with the rest of their infrastructure, I suppose. But the way McLaren has sort of worded it was that Mercedes have given them a very, very basic set of software, whereas the software that obviously Mercedes is using is exploiting everything in that engine. In which I actually said this to you the other day, is that I wonder whether Mercedes would have built into their software, if this compression ratio change does happen within the engine and they have absolutely nailed it, is their software optimizing that to its absolute capacity? And will they share that with the other teams? And I wonder if that's something to do with it. Because you do sort of think, don't you, if they're managing to do that and they're going beyond this temperature and this RPM, as the compression ratio changes, we need to do more with the fuel and the air mixture or whatever. And that's why they're managing the higher speeds and things. You don't have to give that to other teams.
No.
Really.
No.
So, it's hard, isn't it?
I think one of the parts of the puzzle, because if you look at all the others, Alpine, Williams, they both take Mercedes gearbox and engine and gearbox. They take both.
Yes.
McLaren make their own gearbox.
Ah, okay.
So, and they have said that they're struggling to get the same data from the engine as the other Mercedes supplied teams as well. So
right, okay.
It's obviously a McLaren issue. And I wonder how much of that issue comes into play between, Mercedes have made the engine, they've made the gearbox, they've shipped them to Alpine, to Williams, they use their own gearbox. And, so Mercedes, Williams, Alpine, they've all got a very interconnected system that's designed to work together and deploy the power and the torque as and when needed.
Yeah.
Is there some sort of disconnect at McLaren between the engine, the gearbox, which may explain why they're seeing issues with power and torque delivery, which is what happened with Piastri.
Maybe.
So it's another variable, I think, that...
Of course.
Yes, they could complain that they may have not been given as much information as they'd hoped from Mercedes. But I think Mercedes aren't going to give any other competitor any more than they are legally obligated to under their contracts and under the FIA rules. They're not going to rock up and go, oh, by the way, if you use this mapping, you'll be golden.
Well, the thing is, if that was the case, every year that Mercedes was dominant, all the other Mercedes power units should have been right behind them. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
And if you're struggling for grip as well, part of your power delivery on track comes from the grip. If you're sending the power to the wheels and the wheels aren't abrasive enough on the surface and aren't gripping and sending you forward, it's... So saying we're struggling with the power and with grip in the corner, you're like, that sounds like a whole race car issue, not like, oh, but we're okay, it's fine. It's just this little thing that we need to dial in.
The thing is, McLaren Mercedes weren't complaining last year going, oh, we only gave McLaren a baseline spec for that engine, and look at what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, I wouldn't expect for a minute for Mercedes to give all the in-house secrets away to McLaren or Alpine or Williams.
No.
And the same way I wouldn't expect McLaren to go, last year, by the way, Mercedes, we found these things that we can do with the sensors on the engine, and it turns it into a rocket ship. Would you like them? They're not going to do that. Of course they're not. The same, otherwise, Ferrari's there in third and fourth. Why isn't the Haas in fifth? It's just a silly argument.
So I just wonder, like, are they gonna figure it out, and are they just looking for? Oh, it's not really us. But at the end of the day, it just seems a very weird thing to kind of come out going, "Oh, we don't think we've been given all the info," and then to say, "But we're struggling with the power, we're struggling with the corners." Okay, but 51 seconds off.
That's incredible.
Nearly 52 seconds. All right. If you'd looked at the qualifying, like I said before, and then looked at those lap times, you kind of gone, "Oh yeah, that kind of average out. That's how slow they were behind quali."
Makes sense.
But the Ferraris weren't that much closer to the Mercs in quali, but still managed to finish within 16 seconds. Both of them.
Yeah, and the Ferraris seem good in race form.
Race trim's good. And the Max thing, race back, like, incredible from 20th to 6th. Incredible.
Yes.
And you do wonder how much time he lost getting his way up there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was anywhere near 54 seconds.
No, it wasn't.
25, 30 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, obviously, don't forget, Max did have an extra pit stop as well. He did a 2-stopper. So even if you knock 20 seconds off that, it's a 30-second gap. It's still not great. I don't know, because a lot of the race he was complaining, obviously, as a GP, about battery recovery, and he was struggling with that. Yeah. And obviously, with that being a brand new engine off the grid, whether or not Ford's giving them all the info, who knows? But yeah, there's definitely improvements to be made. Definitely.
Battery thing was interesting. He did say that when he got to the grid, he had no battery charge after the formation lap, and he wasn't the only one to say that. George Russell said the same thing at the front. Which got me thinking, is like, how are you losing battery on the formation lap? Like, when you're not deploying, like, you're racing. It was just weird. But yeah, like, a lot of gremlins, it looks like, in that. It looks like just a quick engine. But,
it does, yeah.
But a lot of gremlins, maybe, to iron out, especially with Agile going out and them having the battery issues. But I look at it and go, yeah, would he have been ahead of Lando without that other pit stop? I reckon so. But how much closer to the back of the two Ferraris? I don't think he'd have been challenging them.
No, I don't think he would. No, I think if he'd have started, close to Hadjar, I think he'd be still finishing behind Lewis Hamilton. I think he would have been ahead of Norris.
Yeah.
But it's all ifs, buts, and coconuts.
Yeah.
As the cars develop, we have no idea. The Red Bull powertrain looks like a good motor.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'm just looking at it thinking, are we going to see, like, when all the drivers for each of the top 4 teams finish? In the first part, are we going to see Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren? It's like the top 8. It's just you kind of get that vibe from the opening race that actually,
of course,
that's almost like what we're going to see. It's just going to be 2 Mercs, 2 Ferrari, and in that order. And then you'll get past the top 4 and it'll mess around a little bit, and you'll have.
I don't know. I hope it's not going to be that predictable, but I know what you mean.
And I hope it's not a case of 50 seconds down the road again in China.
I hope not.
If it does that, if China ends up pretty much the same, it does put the writing on the wall for the rest of the season, or at least until June.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends. There's so many variables that I've heard, and like I say, none of them are confirmed. An awful lot of them are coming from different motorsport journalists or different magazines and different news articles around the world, sort of saying they are looking at changes, maybe more engine power, more battery power, slower battery power, attaching pigeons. No idea. Until they come forward and say, right, okay, we can see there's an issue, we are now going to do this. And obviously, don't forget, we've got 2 more races this month, and then it looks like we're going to be having a break for pretty much the whole of April. as the two races in the Middle East will more than likely be closed off for people's safety, which you can completely understand.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, more than anything, it's not even just the safety of the teams and the drivers, but you think 500,000 people normally attend a race weekend. I wouldn't want to see anybody put in harm's way for traveling across countries where they shouldn't be going.
No.
So if it is cancelled, as much as we'll be gutted, it's more than likely the right thing to do, and we completely understand that. But with that being such a big gap, I'm sure an awful lot of development will be going on. The only thing I was gutted about not seeing this weekend was the Ferrari rotisserie chicken wing.
Yeah.
I was gutted. I really wanted to see that. And do you know what? If their new sponsor on that rotisserie wing was a kebab sponsor, I would be made up.
Yeah.
I just think that'd be perfect.
I was very surprised not to see it, because
it must just be not the right track for it.
But that's what I was thinking. Like, it's one where they're looking to buy extra space under braking. It looks like, but extra distance under braking. And I'm kind of thinking, some of those braking zones in Australia are heavy, very heavy braking zones. But is it maybe they didn't feel like if they bought enough on the braking zone, that they'd be quick enough at the out? Because there's a lot of the heavy braking zone and a very quick exit out. I wonder if they thought that maybe that was...
No. Do you know what I think that was? I think because an awful lot of the braking zones at the end of the sections where you would have that wing open, and obviously as we saw when it rotates back on itself, it's like an air brake before it goes flat again. A lot of those braking zones are curved. I don't think that'd be wise having a giant windbreak on a curved surface.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Thinking about it,
I'm not sure.
If you think about it, all the more, every one of those heavy braking zones is followed by a kind of a left right or a right left.
Exactly.
So first corner,
heavy
brake into a right that's immediately into a left, which is
whereas somewhere like Monza or Imola, big, very long straights.
Yeah,
that would. It's only a theory.
And I'm just thinking, like, you go around turn 4, and then 5 and 6 is a very kind of quick left right.
Oh yeah.
Followed by that extended, what used to be the DRS zone, and again it's a heavy braking zone into a left right. So I wonder if there just wasn't they got the air displacement on it to get the grip under braking. And
it could completely upset the back end. I have no idea.
Yeah. No, I hadn't thought that. I was just thinking about the heaviness of the brake zones.
I don't know.
I hadn't thought about the actual layout.
That could have been a complete ploy to throw everyone off in testing.
We'll never see it again. Just gone.
That could have been a joke, and they just thought, let's see how many people try and match this. No idea.
Or the only time we ever see it again is at the Ferrari team barbecue, and it is just...
Yeah, maybe.
rotating a hog roast on it or something.
I would like to see that, to be fair.
Although, with the strategy team, they'll probably mess up the logistics of the barbecue, so who knows?
Yeah, they'll probably forget to light it,
Yeah. But I think, that kind of takes us through the whole of the race, really, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Which, I was glad to see us back on track. Really glad to see us back on track, but just feeling a little bit gutted that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like F1.
No, it didn't. We keep saying this. Hopefully, as the season goes on and the development kicks in with these cars, and if they do bring the odd little rule change in, whether it's slower or faster deployments, engines, whatever, hopefully things will become a little bit better. I'm not expecting it to be epic because the cars are a lot slower than they used to be. But we never know. And regardless of whether I like these regulations or not, we're still going to carry on watching the rest of the season because we love our F1. Yeah. And we're still going to carry on, obviously we're still going to be here on the podcast. And we're going to carry on doing our little predictions. That's one thing. I do apologise to anybody who saw them. We put out clips on Saturday after qualifying. Now, you'll notice the clip that I posted myself, because me and Ray aren't together on a Saturday. I was in work because it was a very early qualifying, and I'm in work very early. So I decided to make a quick clip, but it was very loud because I was near a compressor. I do apologise. I'll try my hardest to use a better microphone next time. But also, I forgot to make my race prediction, which I only realised after watching Ray's clip 4 hours after I posted mine. Thanks, Ray. And but no, that's it. It's all a learning curve. I'm not somebody who's done any of this sort of social media stuff. I'm actually very opposed to being behind a camera. But yeah, I can take it.
I think that's the thing. The quali ones, our little predictions after there, they're just for fun anyway. They're not like it's our end ones that matter, or ones from last week that really matter when we come to the end of the season. But I was very surprised. I nailed it.
You did?
I did nail it. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. And
well done.
Well done, Zach. The only one that I get. I'm in my Zach cosplay today. It's the only one I'll probably get right all season. But although for the next couple of races, I think you're pretty safe saying we're going to see some Mercedes and some Ferraris on the podium. But the team stand-ins after race one, I'll quickly run through them. In first place, obviously, we've got Mercedes with 43 points. Behind them, Ferrari with 27. McLaren in third with 10. Red Bull in fourth with 8. Haas, cracking start, in fifth with 6 points. Racing Bulls in sixth with 4. Audi with 2 points. Well done, Audi, scoring points in your first race in seventh. And then Alpine with 1 point in eighth. Williams, Cadillac, and Aston Martin yet to score after race one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cracking starts the season for Audi, like you say, like points, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, brilliant.
And Alpine actually getting off to a good start after last season with 8 points, but it's it took them a long time to score that last year.
It did, yeah.
But that's where it stands.
Yes.
I haven't seen much in the way of news.
No.
Obviously, there's been a couple of bits that have come out just from interviews from after the race. So part of me is wondering how much Toto's saying this just to make it look like they're not going to run away with it, but he thinks they've got a fight on their hands with Ferrari this season. I mean, I hope it wasn't just a one-off for Ferrari yesterday, and I do hope the strategy team gets it together. But he's basically said, he thinks they've got a fight.
I think he's right there. Yeah, I think he's right. I don't think he said that just for the effect, to be fair. I do think they've got a fight on their hands with the Ferrari. And like we say, it was only the first race. We have no idea what these cars are really capable of once they get them dialed in. Because now they've actually got, 58 laps of, race data that they can go off. They know a bit more about what the tyre deg's like and things like that. They've got an awful lot of data to go off and some fine tuning. I mean, Ferrari, from what I've heard, have said they've got a new chassis in development.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. After one race.
We've got a new chassis coming. I think that's insane. When you think about the amount of work it took, like how long they got that chassis signed off very late. I remember us talking about it in the preseason that they were late getting that chassis signed off. So maybe they've kind of gone, well, we need a chassis. Here's this one, but they hadn't got the final product that they wanted in mind.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe this one's lighter or stronger, or who knows?
But yeah, that was good. There's no word from Audi on what the technical issue was from Hulkenberg either. I've tried. If you've seen me kind of looking away from the camera and it looks like I'm typing a little bit, I've been looking for little bits of news as we go, just in case anything's come up whilst we've been live. Whilst we've been recording. If you ever see me doing that, not that I'm not listening. I'm just trying to see if there's any info that we can find as we're going as well.
Yeah. We believe you.
Yeah. What did you say? Sorry. The other biggest news, and it's not race related, but it is F1 related. The Felipe Massa court case with Bernie Ecclestone, Formula One management.
Yes.
A court has ordered Ecclestone and Formula One management to pay £250,000 of Massa's legal fees. So it's, for anyone who doesn't know what that is about, Felipe Massa believes that he was robbed of the championship back in 2008 because of the Crashgate scandal that saw Flavio Briatore eventually kicked out of the sport and banned for life before that was overturned, and he came back with Alpine last year. Essentially, Briatore's team at the time sent out a driver to deliberately crash in order to help Fernando Alonso's position. And it came out later on that apparently Bernie Ecclestone knew about it. Obviously, Bernie Ecclestone used to own F1. He knew about it at some point and hid it. And so Massa's basically saying that race alone cost him the title. It didn't. Later on in that race, he drove off with the fuel hose still attached to his car, so I think that had a bigger bearing on his race result. But he's been adamant of trying to get that result overturned to show that he was a Formula One champion. And it's going to drag out, would be my thing. But yeah, he's had a small victory in that he's going to get £250,000 worth of legal fees back. But yeah, I think that's the other big news. I haven't seen anything else come out. I think with it being race weekend, we weren't going to see much else come out. It was all going to be race related.
No.
I was thinking, we mentioned this the other week, but if we do have a large break in between Japan and the next race, we'll probably have all of April off. I think we should do our Drive to Survive watch. And at least we'll have something to chat about on something else to chat about on the podcast as well, and we'll let you guys know what we think of Drive to Survive. I'm not keen on it. We said this the other thing. I think it's become like a footballers' wives version of Formula One, but where it's all about the drama and not about the racing. But
of course,
as we'll give you our views. Look at it. But I think, unless there's anything you can think of, that might be bringing us to an end.
No, I think that is bringing us to a close.
Yeah. So, hopeful that changes can be made for the next few races. Yeah. Hopeful that this isn't going to be what we see all season. But good to be back on track, I think.
Oh, yes. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, thank you for listening to us, folks. If you got any thoughts on the race, if you enjoyed it, let us know. Let us know what you enjoyed about it. If you agree or disagree with us, that's absolutely fine. Join the conversation. Let us know what you think. We'd love to chat with you. And if ever we reply to you on the socials, we'll let you know which one of us is it that's replying as well. You'll see a little ray or a mark at the end of it, so you'll be like, "Oh, you're the one I'm going to have a go at." But that's fine.
It's always right.
Yeah, it's always me. But yeah, join the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to discuss it with you, either in the comments there, or maybe at some point in the future when we're feeling a bit more comfortable. We'll do a live episode and we'll be able to chat with you live over some of the stuff as well, if you've got opinions in the chat and things like that. So no guarantees on that. We need to get a bit more comfortable doing all of this, but it's something that we do want to think about. But until next time, thanks for listening to us, and we will see you next week with our China review. Until then, thanks for listening.
Oh, yes.
And take care.